Ben, Dash9 Computing, and today I'm going to install Kali Linux, K-A-L-I Linux. I just dropped my little memory stick here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a 128 gig SD memory card. I'm going to install it on that. This one happens to have, it was from my Nintendo Switch. It has a little mushroom-headed person there. So you do need a fast memory card if you're going to run Linux. So it's a Raspberry Pi 4 and this Kali Linux for Raspberry Pi 4. I'll show you how to download it and etch it onto this little thing. Oh, and this is the other little cool thing, is this is a USB drive. Well, now I have a little trouble getting it out, but if you can see, I slid the memory stick in there. It's a little USB drive that just slides in and then you plug it into the USB port. In my case, I have to put it in this little adapter to a USB-C for my Mac, and then I will burn it onto this. Now, why Kali? What is Kali? Kali, K-A-L-I, is it's a security-based operating system for the Raspberry Pi. There are several. I may try some other ones out. It's kind of considered ethical hacking, but it has some security tools in there. Anything from Nmap to sort of probe your network, see what's on there, to trying to run some exploits. I was thinking maybe I'll kick up an ESP32 with a web server on it, and we could try to poke at that, see what it finds. I've never installed it. I don't even know what half these tools are. Some of them, I was looking at some, it's not Carbon Black, I forget what it was called. I'll look it up, but it has like 600 different tools. I'm not even sure what half of them are. So yeah, let's just check it out. I mean, it's free. It should take us a short period of time to get it up and going. That's one thing I really love. You test it out, use it for a couple days, and try another one. Just figure out what you're into and figure out what you can use, and good times. Okay, let's get started. Are at kali.org, and I clicked on, gosh, where did I click? I think I just went to the main page. And so there's installer images, which is what I'm going to do. I'm not running it on a VM or some of these other things. Now, my Raspberry Pi 4 is a 64-bit operating system. They do say 32-bit is more supported, but I want to run the 64-bit because we can. There's a couple options. Here's just the regular installer. There's this sort of weekly untested images, everything in the kitchen sink, and then net installer where you pull everything from a torrent. I ended up just going with the basic installer just to see what's there. We can always add things later if we want. So you download that image, and then here is Etcher, and so flash from a file. So if I open up this Kali, here we can kind of make it a little easier to see. Here's the ISO image that I've downloaded. So we open that image. Let's select a target. I have plugged in my 128 gig memory card, the SD card. I'm going to select it, and let's flash it. Have to put in your password. I couldn't get Kali to work. I tried the 64-bit version. I burnt it to the SD card, couldn't get it to boot. I reformatted the SD, reburnt it with Etcher. Still didn't work. I tried the 32-bit version, didn't work. So now I'm moving on to Network Security Toolkit, which I'm actually downloading from SourceForge. This is supposed to be pretty good. It has a lot of different features, some web-based Nord IDS integration. We'll see what it's like. So yeah, let's burn it up and pop it in. So this distribution is really, I think, meant to be run on like a memory stick. And that way you can kind of walk around with the OS on a memory stick, plug it in, and kind of check out a compromised system, or just have it mobile. So right now I'm just kind of going through and timing out. Okay, huzzah. So here we are. It's trying to boot off of the USB here. And this is not that. So down at the bottom, it says escape to go to a diagnostic screen, or hold shift to stop boot and start net install. Let's hold shift now that I have it hooked up to an Ethernet cable. Okay, waiting for network. It should DHCP negotiate. I don't like how it's cut off on the edge. That letter progress is progress. There we go. Okay, so let's see. I think what I may have just done is just said, you know, this system may have kind of panicked and said, you know what, there's no operating system. Do you want to install Raspberry Pi operating system? I don't think I am using what I wanted to use. So let's just see, choose an OS. What are our choices? Yeah, Raspberry Pi, media emulation station for game OSs, erase. So freemium or paid OS, other specific purpose OSs. Maybe we'll search through here and see what they have to offer. I don't know, we're kind of going off topic, but I don't know, let's see what they have to offer. Oh, hey look, here's Kali, that's what I wanted to do in the first place. Okay, let's pivot back, and you know, I'm just shooting from the hip. So let's have some fun. Let's see, Kali 32, I really want the 64. I have the version 4. ARM image. Let's just see what the other options are. Pi 0. Ah, heck. Let's jump back to where we started. Why not? Heck yeah. Okay, storage. I only have one thing of storage, and this is it. Okay, let's do it. This is handy to know. I don't remember seeing this, so that's cool that this is here. I'm kind of glad I ran into it, I guess you could say. If you had a machine that you just had a memory stick in and you popped it in and you have network connectivity, you're kind of good to go. Okay, I'm gonna pause this and then we'll come back when it's done. Okay, so here's the desktop. I checked and the default is Kali for username and password. K-A-L-I and oops, K-A-L-I, let's see, K-A-L-I. Okay, desktop preferences, there we go, first time in. I like it, looks nice. I want to set up probably the Wi-Fi first. Oh, available networks, super. Maybe I should have just done this right from the get-go. Yes, probably should have. Okay, let's type in the password. And connect. Looks like it's trying right here, little circles. And we are connected. Okay, super duper. I've been working pretty hard getting this, the VNC working. There was a lot of tweaking I needed to do. I'll spare you that. And then I went down a rabbit hole and broke everything, but it's back again. So there's a lot of different apps in here. For example, if you break down information gathering, DNS analysis, so domain name service analysis, intrusion detection, hosts, I mean, it just goes on and on. Samba or SMB, simple mail transfer protocol, network management, SSL, so like webs, you know, HTTPS or maybe TLS type of things. Vulnerability analysis, I mean, it just web analysis, and this is like WordPress and SQL commands. It's pretty detailed. You need to read up because a lot of it brings up a lot of command line sort of stuff, but password attacks, wireless, you can probably overload different wireless. I mean, there's a lot here, and I was kind of, you know, tooling around, but I don't want to do anything. I'm trying to be a conscientious hacker, meaning I just want to poke at my own things. I did kick up my little ESP32, and I'm going to plug it back in now, where it runs a little mini web server. And for example, I mean, I'm going to use one of the most basic tools, but something you're going to use a lot, I think I use a lot, is Nmap, network mapper. And here's my IP address. It actually shows me on my screen, but there we go. So, okay, so it starts Nmap, and there it goes. It found it and just says there's only one port open, port 80, and that is accurate. Well, after all that time getting VNC working, I'm having issues projecting the Wireshark that you're seeing on the screen. Part of it is because it's popping a whole new desktop. So as opposed to sharing the actual desktop, whatever. So this is probably, I'm just going to show some quick tools that are super useful. Use them all the time. So Nmap, N-M-A-P. I mean, you can install this on other machines. It doesn't have to be Kali, but it comes built in already. It's already installed. And I'm going to Nmap the 172.16.0.50, and this is the little ESP32 that I have running a little web server on. So let's just do a quick nmap. It scans it, and sure enough, it shows one port is up and running. It's port 80, so it is running web server. Now, over here, we have Wireshark. And with Wireshark, we can actually watch the traffic go by. So if I put on this IP address, so I'm now looking for this IP address. Let's start. Let's continue without saving. Okay, so now I'm going to run the scan again, and it's going to create quite a bit of traffic. And to analyze this it takes a bit of work to kind of go through it. I'm not going to go through all of it right now, but you can tell it's doing a lot of scans. It's trying to hit a lot of ports and trying to find, it's scanning the box, and it looks like it's done. But look how much traffic was just generated. If you, kind of get your kung fu going on this, you can dig out all sorts of interesting information. We'll just pick a random packet for now. And TCP, it was looking at port 1052, for example. And here's some information about it, the sequencing, reset, acknowledge, and it shows which bits are set. I mean, you really get down to the bits and bytes, so it's really powerful when you know how to use it. Very useful. So this one is a common one I'll use. The other one is to do like just a TCP dump if you don't want to actually, if you just want to sort of see like, so hey, like try to connect to my machine, and let's just see if you're actually getting there. So say like a web server or something's talking to a backend database, and you think maybe there's an ACL in the way. Hey, let me do a TCP dump for host. What was it? 172.16.0.50. Okay, so I'm doing a TCP dump, and I'm listening for that host. And actually, I guess maybe I should kick nmap in a different window just to show some more traffic. So let's just do a quick nmap over here, the same thing. So nmap, there we go. So that's basically the same traffic that Wireshark is looking at. Now you can also take this output from from a TCP dump, and you can put it into a file, and then you can have Wireshark open that file. So it's kind of two different ways to look at the same traffic. But if you just want to see like, oh hey, well clearly they're talking. I see a ton of traffic, so it's probably not an access control list. And you may want to do a deeper search to make sure what ports are open and what isn't open. But just a little useful thing. Do a quick password cracker that comes with Kali, and you can download it separately, I'm sure. It's called Hydra. And you can launch it this way, and basically it asks you things like enter the service you want to attack. I'm just going to do it interactively on the command line because I know the options I want to use. So let's see, it's Hydra. And then if I go to the end here too, I'll explain what I'm doing. So Hydra-L test. So I created a user called test. You could make it like pi or root, or depending on what you're going after, or you can also use a file full of usernames, so standard usernames. P is a password, and I'm using a password file. And in this file, I really only have one password because I'm trying to make this a quick example. However, I also have a password file that has 100,000 passwords potentially. You can do millions if you wanted, I'm sure. It just takes time. This is the IP address of what I'm attacking. And here's the protocol SSH. So we launch it, and it runs through a quick thing. It SSHs to the host. It tries test. It tried the password Austin ! Completed successfully. One valid password found. Done.
Ah, I'm in.
Now, if I do, cat the password file, Austin was the only password in there, but it just goes to show. So if I cat, I downloaded something called rocku text, it's going to print out 100,000 passwords. Just to give you an idea. So this could be a way where you can also, instead of using that IP address, you could use a file. So you could say, I want to do an entire network. So you could do, 10.1.1.0/24 or something. You want to scan an entire network, and you want to use all these standard sort of passwords that usernames, and you have in a file and all the passwords, so you can kind of go to town. Kind of neat. There's another tool, MSFDB, Metasploit. It basically, if you launch Metasploit, it's in here somewhere. I haven't used it that much recently, but whatever, you click on it in here somewhere, and it brings up this Metasploit. You can also do it from the command line, sudo msfdb init, and then and ms console. And what I did is I ran a command here. Where was it? Sorry, this is very long. Here we go. Okay, so I ran a scan on my local Linux box from the local host. So in this prompt, you do this db nmap v-v-script vulnerability vuln, and then the IP address, and it's basically running an nmap, but it looks like it also runs a little extra. I'm going to scroll through a bunch of it until we get to the more interesting stuff. Here it is, DOS attack, vulnerable. Most likely don't vulnerable, and it gives you the CVE number so you can look at more details on it, spits out some more information, does some more scans, and then we found another one, which is another type of DOS attack. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'm sure you can use it to do all sorts of other penetration testing. There's so many tools on here, it's insane. The cool one, DNS Chef. So it's basically, you run this, I'm running the command DNS Chef, and I'm saying these domains, fake these two domains, the sprawl.org and google.com, and say the IP address is this. Now, you'll have to do this on, you have to point someone to this resolver. However, you could install this locally and change your resolve.conf to look at localhost. And so maybe you only want to do it to just Google, or maybe just Bank of America, or whatever. So now I'm on, this is the same machine, so that's running. So if I do a dig for google.com at localhost, oh, I didn't put the at. Hold on, Google at localhost. Look at the address. That's not Google. That's the address I said, 6694, right? Right there. So now if I do that same search, if I dig for google.com at, let's say one of Google's DNS servers, 8.8.8.8, and I keep forgetting the at symbol, sorry, at 8.8.8.8, boom, we get the real address, 142. And maybe I want to point them to my front-end Google server or something and do something nefarious, who knows? But just a cool little thing. I mean, it's basically running like a DNS server, and it's sort of like if you're running a DNS server and you said, I'm authoritative for Google. Well, there you go. But it's real quick and easy. I mean, you saw how long that took I just typed that in, hit enter, off and running. So, cool one.